Good morning, traders. This is Trading Together. I'm Mel Gacee. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Today is Wednesday, February the 11th, and we just came off of some data. So we're having some interesting market movements, that's for sure. We're going to analyze these charts in just a second. Aggie is here. Good morning. And if you're here, welcome, welcome. If you're new, welcome. This is a place for live trading together and a place for market analysis and a place for traders to learn and grow. So feel free to ask questions, drop your comments. Let's get to know each other, and we'll spend the next hour together doing just that. So we'll do some live trading, hopefully, if we get the setups, and we'll do some market analysis, and I will be happy to answer any questions or comments that you might have. All right, let us jump into analyzing these charts here. So what happened this morning is on the SPY, we came in pre-market, kind of, let's zoom out a little bit and I'll show you kind of what pre-market and post-market looked like. Let me zoom out a bit here. And you can see it from a different perspective. So here, pre-market, we're kind of moving up, we're kind of floating along, and then we get the labor data. Now, we've been waiting for labor data for some time now. This was the unemployment report. This was the non-farm payroll report, and also the average hourly earnings. So all of that data was super important. We've been waiting for it, especially the non-farm payroll report. So all the data looked good. The unemployment rate dropped 0.1%. The non-farm payrolls had a nice boost. We added a lot of jobs, and the hourly earnings also. As we got those reports, the market jumped up, boosted real high. We came up 30, 40 points. And then as soon as the market opened, boom, they dropped it. 97 to 89. So quite a bit there. That is what? 80 points drop there. Pretty extensive drop. And then we hit a low down here at 689 on the SPY and started to climb. So we've made it back almost to the VWAP, and we're rejecting a little bit off of the VWAP right now. So so right now I'm watching to see, are we trying to reverse this up, or did we make it to the VWAP and we're going to reject right back down? So that is, and I am actually currently stuck in a call. And so I need it to reverse up here, and hopefully we can get that to happen. That would make my day. And until then, I'll be also looking for new trades. We did get a pop on the VIX. The VIX came up almost to 19, so 18.96. So almost 19 points on the VIX, which is quite the pop, and has now kind of since pulled back a little bit from that. But we're still watching, right? Because we're kind of getting these, they look like curtains to me, right? They're just kind of doing these little loops. So let's see if we can get the market to come up here and beat this VWAP and start heading north. That would be great. Anna is here. Good morning, Anna. Welcome. Good to see you. So right now I am looking for a cross over the VWAP for hopefully another trade here. Let's see how that goes. And right now, like I said, it's got a nice bounce off of 689, little weakness right here, and we're kind of camping out at this low of day from yesterday. Gavilan is here. Good morning. Good to see you. All right. So we're still kind of in this wait and see mode. And we've got a couple of market leaders are moving up. So we've got Apple up 2%, NVIDIA up 1.4%. Oh, UNH moved up a little bit today. That's nice. The Qs are just at their flat line, a little bit negative, just like the SPY. We're just a little bit negative at the flat line. And the mags as a whole are down a bit, about 0.27%. So not horrible, but not great, not bright green. And we'd like to see that. All right, Gavilan, why did we drop even though we had a good labor report? That's a great question, Gavilan. There's a couple of possible answers. We don't know for sure. I will say this. We've got some lower targets that we need to hit. But what could be the answer today, and won't know this until we see a little bit more where it goes. What could be the answer today is we could have just needed some liquidity here, a nice drop before they push it back up to the highs. That is possible. We won't know that exactly until we kind of see if we're truly making an upward movement here. It looks like we might be, but we're stalling out a little bit. So that's one possible answer. The other possible answer is there is weakness below us. We do have some lower targets that do need to get retested. So that is part of it as well. All right. So let's see here. I'm kind of looking for the MACD to curl up and this moving average to move up. We're just holding right here at this low of days. So let's see what happens here if we get a bounce from it or we break down beneath it. And if we take a look at volume over here on the options chart, we can see that we do have some decent volume kind of growing here at the 697, 698 level on the call side. But we also have good volume on the put side. 690 is the biggest volume strike on the put side. And so we've got some pretty heavy volume on the put side, but we are seeing some growing volume on the call side. So it's really kind of a tug of war right now. We are, last time I checked, sitting in negative gamma and sitting with a put wall at 690. Well, we hit 689 and we did get a bounce from there, but we haven't bounced that far. So I'm still watching to see if we can get out of this negative gamma. And right now, like I said, 690 is the bottom. 696 is the call wall on the top. All right. So still kind of fighting this level here. So no trade at the moment, but when we get a little push up to the VWAP here, if we get it, that might be a signal to go into calls. Let's see what happens. We're just under our flat line about 5-6 points, meaning flat line is what I call where we closed yesterday. So we're just negative by about 5 points right now off from where we closed yesterday. So still just a little negative here. We did get that rejection off of the VWAP. What we do have, though, is a little bit of a higher high here. And if this one doesn't drop, we'll have a higher high here if we can turn and move up. So that's what I'm waiting to see. The VIX is sort of sideways, sitting at 18. That's still elevated. So that could still give us a drop. So we've got to be aware of that. All right, nice little push here. So we still need to beat this VWAP. That is what I'm waiting for. But that was a nice little volume increase there. No turn just yet, but we're getting closer. Up through our flat line. So right now we're just kind of sideways right here, but that was a nice little volume. Let's see if maybe we can get another push, make another run at this VWAP here. All right, still, all right, nice little green candle here. We're right at the 100. So this green line right here is our 100 period moving average. So we're just kind of battling that right now. As soon as we kind of beat that, we should come up here and try this VWAP again. That would be great. And our VIX got a little drop down here, so that's helpful. We're just a little bit over the flat line here. And the MACD is just barely starting to brighten up here. So we could consider a call here. That's a nice little push. And if I do take calls, I'm going to be looking at the 692s. We haven't quite pushed through the VWAP yet, so I'm still watching that. We are a little bit over the 100. So let's just get this push through the VWAP, and that would be great. Six points. Just playing right here. No push just yet. Just kind of stalling here. It's giving us a slow move, but it does look like a solid move off the bottom. No push through the VWAP yet. And we'll take a look at the VIX in just a minute with that big spike up to 18, 19 almost. So that was a big spike. And we've been talking about that with the VIX having a rising bottom. So we're gonna have to wait here on this trade, not getting in yet until we kind of pop up through the VWAP here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the VIX here while we're watching this. And I'm kind of keeping it in the side of my view here. And here's the daily on the VIX. Now, you guys know we've been analyzing this every day, right? And every day we're looking at it and we're watching this rising bottom. It's very consistent. It just has not stopped since December 24th. It's very consistent for this rising bottom. Look at that. And we really haven't seen a lot of this in the past. We have some. We have a few here that we see with the rising bottom and then boom, a big spike. But this rising bottom has just been slow and consistent. And today, again, we popped up to almost 19, but our recent pop was up to 23. And we can get as high as 28 and 30, which, all right, we're moving up a little bit through the VWAP now. But the VWAP is, or excuse me, the VIX is also coming back down. So after that pop up to 19, it's back. The body of the candle is back in the middle. So we've got a wick above and a wick below. That's indecision. So, you know, if they push the VIX all the way back down and we push the market up, we would see this candle come all the way, the red part come all the way down here. And that's possible. We still just haven't gotten through this VWAP yet. All right, Anna, besides Schwab, what do you recommend for cash account? Great question, Anna. There's a couple of good brokers out there. I don't like Robinhood, but IBKR is decent. I think, what is it? Tasty Trade. Some people recommend Webull. I would look at something that's got a good charting platform because that's really what you're going to want, is to be able to get into your charts and make sense of things. So yeah, I would look at maybe Webull, Tasty Trade, IBKR. Those ones would be good. All right, so that's kind of our analysis on the VIX. And thanks for the question, Anna. I think that's a great question. So that's this. It's just unusual. So if we zoom out a little bit, let's look at it one more minute because it's just unusual to me how long it's been rising. And we've spiked a couple of times, but nothing huge or horrible. Just this spike here, January 20th, and this spike here on February the 5th. So let me zoom out just a little bit more and see. I keep looking at this because it's interesting to me. How this bottom has been going for a while. We did see this happen here. Look at that. Now that was more of a vertical rise, but you see it happening here, right? This strong push up with the bottom just rising, rising, rising. And then it comes down and then it spikes. But it did kind of go through this several days and weeks here. It looks like 221 to 310. So basically, 3 weeks, it was rising like that. So we've got it over here a little bit, over here a bit. But what I guess my point is, we are kind of culminating in these kind of spikes up. So now today, again, this is a push down. So, all right, there we go up through the VWAP. Let me get back over to my other chart. I do think we're going to get a drop at some point. We got a drop today, but so far they're trying to recover it. So yeah, so again, this is the open. Well, this is data. This is the open. So data, climb, drop, climb. A very, they love to do these these big zigzags, right? Um, so what we need to see to verify that we're doing further climbing is this owning of the VWAP here. So that's good. That's helpful. All right. You're welcome, Anna. All right. Do we want to consider a call here? I want to see a little stronger push here. It's feeling a little weak right here at the VWAP. I'd like to see it really kind of own it, if you know what I mean. $28, $20. So kind of this really slow, very slow climb. And here we go, back to fight that VWAP again. So no true control of the VWAP yet. The VIX is still giving us a little bit of a downward move here. Apple and Nvidia both seem to be moving up, so that's encouraging. Qs are up 0.14, we're up 0.13, so we're kind of neck and neck with the Qs. Let's take a look at the chart. Remember, the Qs are the ETF over the NASDAQ. So the Qs are doing what we're doing, just fighting the VWAP here. Very similar chart, strong drop down and then a rise up to the VWAP. So very similar chart as to what we're getting right now as well. All right, there's a little push there. That's helpful. There we go. All right, up a little bit here. That's nice. All right, nice push. I'm watching for this candle to finish here. So it's just giving us these tiny little step ups. Nothing super strong yet, but it has been consistent. All right, that candle finished. Looks like we are going to keep moving up here. That's good. All right, I'm going to try a quick call here. I am in, punch it, at the 692 calls. Very slow on these movements, very slow. Here we go. All right, coming up a little bit. Okay. See these tiny little candles here, aren't they? Very frustrating. Back to the VWAP. Just kind of hovering right here at the VWAP. And there's a little break right there. Back to the 100. So a little bit of a downward move here. Back to our flat line. And today has been a challenging day to trade, I'll say that. So far we have not broken this upper trend line, but we're close. This candle right here is close to breaking it. Well, we're coming back down here. I'll give this a little room here, but not a lot. So I think if we come down and break this low of day, I might jump out on this one, but let's see what we get. We do have some growing volume at the 690 put strikes, 692s, and highest volume on the call side is the 695s. Very challenging day, that's for sure. It has been a tough one. All right, moving back down toward this low of day. And it's breaking it. Here we go. Seems to be giving us a bounce from here. That's good. That helps a little bit. Back green again. That's good. All right. Let's see if this candle can start pushing up. We did get some volume on this green candle. All right, so I'm just going to have to wait for this to try to move back up again. Like I said, if we come down and break the low of day, I might jump out at a loss. But for now, I'm going to wait and see if we can push this back up through the VWAP. We haven't gone down too far. So let's take a look at our daily on the SPX while we're waiting on this trade. All right, so here's our daily. We made a red candle yesterday. We're making a red candle today. What's interesting about today is that so far we've made a higher high and a lower low. Kind of similar to that VIX candle, right? Where we've got a wick above and a wick below. It's undecided, right? It's kind of in the middle, trying to make up its mind here. So right now the candle looking negative, but again, a wick above and a wick below. So I think we could push back up. Look how close we got here at the top of the day to the all-time high, really close. The high was 69.93 and our all-time high is 7,002. So we were within 5 points. No, sorry, 9 points of the new all-time high. Very, very close. And then of course we rejected and dropped down. Now that can be liquidity grabs, that can be traps, that can be stop runs. You just never know. And it's really hard to tell what they're trying to do today. Right now, again, it's right in the middle. The same with the VIX candle was showing us right in the middle. Some wick above, some wick below. So we are getting this push back up toward the VWAP, so that's helpful. Hopefully that'll keep going. But this daily is right now in the middle of indecision. So we need to kind of wait and see. The only real clues we have are volume. What is volume? We've got volume growing here at the 695. And we have volume also on the call side, also on the put side at 690. So both of those are pretty they're active and they're growing, right? 206 is the 695 puts and 216 at the 690. So pretty close, pretty neck and neck here. And let me get back to my futures. So again, we haven't quite broken this trend line. We got trying to kind of hold this upward pattern. So we really need to get up over this VWAP. And it's just kind of fighting here. Now remember, the VWAP is the volume weighted average price, and that is a moving average that takes volume and adds that into the mix, right? So that's this white line right here, the VWAP. And we're just kind of moving sideways right now. Not really up, not really down. So I've got to kind of wait on this one. Hopefully we won't get another down move because that was quite a down move there. With the volume kind of looking 50-50, I think we have a chance to move up. Still kind of toggling here. And our leaderboard is kind of telling us the same story. We're kind of mixed, right? We've got Apple moving up nicely, 1.8%, Nvidia 1.2%, Tesla just at its flat line. The mags, the ETF as a whole is down at 0.6, and the rest of the mag sevens are down. So Meta down 0.8, Amazon 1.6, Google 2. So those aren't looking so strong, but it's a little bit of a mixed bag, like I said. VIX still sitting at 0.8, which is it's decently elevated. So we always have to be aware. VIX is kind of, a little bit higher than usual. We have to be aware of the potential for fast and sudden drops. All right, just sitting at the flat line here, not really doing anything. Right here at kind of toggling zero green right now. And I'm talking about, I'm watching the ES, right? So as this number turns green, that means that we are getting above yesterday's close. All right, there's another little move here. That's good. That's helpful. Let's keep going. So one thing that you see the markets do a lot, and it happens a lot in the middle of the day. You see it all the time, but it happens a lot in the middle of the day, and that's this sideways movement. And a lot of that is just designed to what we would call burn theta, and that is your time value, your time decay. And so when you buy an option, of course, options expire. And when they expire, if you haven't gotten out of it, you're going to lose your money. So options expire. And as we get closer to expiration, the time value begins to erode. It starts to shrink. And so one thing you see markets do almost every day is at some point for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, more or less, you'll see the market move sideways. And that a lot of times is just this idea of they're going to burn the time value, right? Because remember, when we buy the option, there's always someone on the other side of that trade, right? And that's what you always have to remember. Who's on the other side of the trade? So when they sell the option to us, when time value leaking away, when that hurts us, it benefits the seller of the option. So they are making money on our time value going away. That money is going into their account, right? So that's why a lot of times you will see the market just kind of move sideways and do this theta burn. That does happen. All right. Anna's saying, realize I can have both accounts, margin and cash on Thinkorswim. You absolutely can, Anna. And I do have multiple accounts. Some are margins, some are cash. And I use them for different purposes. You can trade futures in a margin account. You can do spreads in a margin account. And in a cash account, you can trade, basically day trade, and avoid the pattern day trade rule. But you can only trade up to the value of your account daily. All right, there is a little bit of help for us and our trade. There we go. That's a little better. Thank you so much, Mr. Market. Up back over the VWAP, and our trade is down about 5% right now. So we just need one more little push here. That would be great. We do have some volume coming on, so that's good. And this is our recent top. So we're sitting right where we were when we rejected last time. Let's see if we don't reject this time. So yeah, absolutely, Anna. You can have pretty much as many accounts as you want on Thinkorswim, and most of the brokerages are the same way. And each account, like I said, can serve different needs. You can trade spreads. You need a margin account for spreads. You need a margin account for futures. But if you don't have 25,000 and you want to day trade, then a cash account is good for that. So you can go in and out of your cash account up to the max value of your account, but you can day trade that. All right. Little red here again. So this is sideways for sure. This is very sideways action happening here. We got this little top that hasn't broken. Right there where my cursor is, you can see the candles just lining up with each other. So we need another little pop here. And it's encouraging, like I said, that we got a little volume on that green candle. And this has been kind of one of those slow days where it's hard to get the volatility. Even though it's been big spreads, it's been hard on these shorter moves. They're taking a bit of a time. They're taking time. They're going slower. And again, that's because right now we're just sort of doing range. This is range. All right, let's see if we can hold on to the VWAP this time. That would be great. So we're about 8 points over the flat line on the ES. Seems like it's trying to hold here. Our hole is starting, so this moving average right here is starting to come up over the VWAP, so that's positive. Jersey girl, good morning. I'm new and wanted to say hi. Thank you so much for saying hi, Jersey girl. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining. Jersey, this is a place for traders of all levels. You can ask your questions and put your comments here. We're doing some live trading together. We're doing some market analysis. So you are welcome, and drop your questions and comments. Thanks for saying hi. I really do appreciate that. All right. Sitting again right in this 8, 9 points above the flat line area. Okay, just waiting here. Here we go. Maybe another push here. Our trade sitting at about negative 13 right now. Let's see if we can get this to pop. So far holding the VWAP, but it's right there. It's right there. And so these lines that I have all over my chart can be a little bit overwhelming, but I'll talk about what they are, and it might help. So this blue line right up here, this turquoise line, this is the 200 period moving average. That is a simple moving average. You see it on a lot of charts. Institutions use it. Lots of people looking at the 200. And this is a minute chart, but if I moved up to a daily, it would still be 200 periods. So it's gauging the last 200 periods no matter what the time frame is on my chart. So here's the 200. Being below it is basically bearish. It's basically negative to be below the 200. So if we can hold the VWAP here, the next target is going to be this 200. And if we can reclaim that, we're going to start to look, I think, a little bit more bullish. All right, we are 10 points over our flat line. That's great. And it's slow, right? You see this range is still here and it's still slow. We're not breaking out of it just yet, but we're at the top. We're getting closer. So that's the 200. As you know, the white line is the VWAP. That's the volume weighted average price. That's an indicator that I add to my chart. All of these moving averages are just different time periods. So the pink is 3, the green is 9, the yellow is 21, the royal blue is 50, and then down a little bit lower, where's our 100? Is that our 100? No, it's not. Where's our 100? Oh, right here. Flying right through the middle. So right here is our 100. So we're over the 100, under the 200, and they're converging on each other, which means that we're kind of coming into this point of decision. We're either going to keep over the 100 and push the 200, or we're going to drop back down under the 100. So right now they're kind of pushing in toward each other. But we did just get this whole moving average. That's this one. This one that turns pink and blue is called the Hull, Hull. And we did just get that to cross the VWAP. So that is positive. But again, we're just kind of over, under, over right now. So this is very sideways behavior. So we're going to need to get a decision here on this direction. All right. Tiny candles here, as you can see. We haven't gone too far, up or down. Testing the VWAP again. Sitting at 7 points over the flat line. And the real level that we're fighting here is the 69.50. So 69.50 on the SPX is a support and a resistance zone. So you can see it over here. This is the SPX. That's the actual index. And 69.50 has been a big, big level. It's been very important. So you can see that's where the VWAP is sitting. That's where the 100 is sitting. That's where the 200 is sitting. We are fighting this level, the 69.50. And that's where a lot of this indecision is coming from, where we were looking at the VIX candle. We were looking at the SPX daily candle. A lot of this indecision is coming right here at the 69.50 level. So we need to kind of beat that and continue to climb. If we lose it, we'll probably head back down. So that's kind of what this decision is right now. And again, in the meantime, they'll just pull it sideways as we're fighting this level. All right, back down below the VWAP here, but just a little bit. We haven't lost it too far. Let's take a look at our volumes. Volume still growing at the 695 strike on the call side. And almost equal volume sitting at the 690 strike on the put side. So we're still pretty 50-50 here on the volume. You can see the volume here on the call side and on the put side. Pretty equally balanced. So again, that makes sense, right? Because we're right here in the middle of this range. And at this point, when you're stuck in a trade like this, you just got to hang on and see what we're doing. Because this chop will break, it will change. We just don't know when. All right, back to the VWAP here. No break yet. And the other thing you can notice is during this sideways range, you can see the MACD, the bars on the MACD are very short, telling you that there's not a lot of momentum. We're just kind of sideways right now. So the MACD is kind of confirming what we can already see right here, that we're moving sideways. All right. Now, if anyone is in this trade with me, if you get profit or green, go ahead and take it. If you had a better entry than I did, or you see green before I do, go ahead and take that. Don't wait for me, because the stream's going to end here in a few minutes. And if I'm still in it, at that time, then that's how we'll manage it. Like I said, if we come down and break this low of day, I'll probably cut my losses and get out. But until then, I'm going to kind of wait and see if we can get up here back where we were. And so get out of the range, right? Basically, we got to break the range one way or the other. So if we are still in the trade when we end the stream, that's the plan. If it comes down to here, I'll get out at a loss. All right, Gavilan down about 19. That's roughly where I am too, Gavilan, about 17. So another little push up here toward the 100 will be the 200 and we'll be fine. But if we drop down to this low of day and break through it, I'll probably get out at loss. So that's kind of my plan on this trade in case we're still in it at the end of the stream. Right now, again, it's still sideways, fighting this VWAP, fighting this 69.50 level. I think it wants to move up. I really do, but we're not there yet. Looks like Dow is moving up a little bit today, 0.1%. So just kind of flat. We're right there neck and neck. We're up just a little bit, about 0.1%. And the Qs are just at their flat line. But see how tiny these candles are? They're just kind of forcing it into this tiny little range, and then it will break one way or the other. Five points over the flat line. And you can see these moving averages all starting to kind of pile up on top of each other. That's when you know we're in chop. We're in chop. It's just a hair under the VWAP here. But again, super tiny candles. Still under the VWAP. Looking like it wants to try and break this upward trend line. So do you see this line here that's been heading up? Looks like it's breaking to the downside. And we're back to our flat line here. A little bit of volume coming in. Not a lot of strength just yet. So still seeing weakness, really. Just at the flat line, 1 point over. So not really out of the range yet. It did give us this little move to the downside here, but really we're not out of that range. The upward trend line is looking wonky, but the range itself is still intact. Little bit negative. So we just a little bit under our flat line, just a little tiny red here. Let's see if they try to hold it here. And we are getting close to the end of the stream. Unfortunately, we're still in this trade, but like I said, you guys know where I'm getting out right here at this low of day, which is basically 691.6 on the SPY, roughly, if it breaks that. And then waiting for, to the upside, a test of this 200. So that's how I'm managing this trade here. And I will be back tomorrow morning. And sorry, we got kind of stuck in this trade. It's been a tough market today, but I'm so glad that you guys were here with me. It's always a lot more fun to trade together. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. And good luck to all of you. Thanks for joining, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.